Well, hello there, friends. How are you doing this morning? It is 6:30 a.m. I have not yet had a cup of coffee, and we are going to be talking about health and fitness, and specifically about being consistent on holidays. I just find my spot over there. So I'm going to put a little bit of a cloth down here because it is a bit rough on the rock. But look, here we are. And you can barely see me, but in the next 5 minutes, you will definitely be able to see me, I think. And if you have any questions for me, you go ahead and you ask those on chat. Um, what a place. What a privilege. Um, for those of you who are watching and cannot yet see me, but you'll be able to see me in about 10 minutes. So stick around and let me know that you're here and say hello. And if you have any questions, you go ahead and ask me. But I am, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to sleep between 7 and 9 hours in a night. Last night was slightly shorter, 6 hours 45-ish. We got to bed late because we had dinner late, but that happens when you're readjusting to any place you go to on holidays. But usually I try to get 7.5 is what I generally get. Anything above that I see as a big plus, and I would actually love to get to 8 or 8.5 hours, but given the schedule that I'm trying to keep, waking up around 5, that would make my bedtime anywhere between 7 and 8. That is unrealistic at the moment, but anywhere between 8:30 and 9:30 seems to be doable, so I'm able to hit that mark. I also mind what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance, so I try to eat 2,200 calories in a day. You might think that that is relatively little for me, but that is the amount of calories where I stay at more or less the same weight. I start eating more than that, guess what happens? I start to put on weight. I start eating less than that. I start to lose weight. And since one of my goals is weight maintenance and changing some of my soft tissue, my fat, for lean mass muscles, but while maintaining the same weight, nutrition plays a big part in that for me. Besides the calories, I try to eat a lot of vegetables. I try to make sure that I eat varieties, colors, um, so that I am getting all those good nutrients in that you don't get from processed foods, that you don't get from white plain foods, because I think they're essential to overall health and well-being. So nutrition plays a big part in there. I do eat meats. I'm not a vegan or vegetarian in that sense, but I do try to eat a lot of plant-based foods, which naturally reduces the amounts of other foods that I um, actually consume. And I'm quite picky about where they're sourced and how the animals were treated. And then on the third part of that is that I try to eat sufficient protein. I try to eat sufficient protein to support my muscle growth and strength goals, and that I think is a part of the commitment to living long, active and self-sufficient, is to be mindful that there is an interplay between sleep, regeneration, nutrition and the exercise that I do. And that's also the third pillar that I focus on. Is I show up for strength training, I show up for conditioning training, I show up for strength conditioning training, I show up for endurance training, I show up for HIIT training, I show up for mobility training. Um, you can count that's 6. So technically, I am doing something every day of the week that challenges and stimulates my body to stay fit, to stay healthy. And if you want to see where I am on that journey, check out my channel and go and see yesterday's short, because yesterday's short is where it's at. Yesterday's short, I think, gives you a pretty clear indication of where my lifestyle lands me in terms of my health, in terms of my physique, in terms of how I look at what I think normal is. And normal is definitely not everything that you are seeing online every day, every time you open any kind of feed that shows you any kind of health or fitness influencing, or strength or muscle and conditioning fitness influencing. Beyond that, I also try to spend time with people I love and care about as much as possible. A lot has to happen before I sacrifice that time. I think it's important, I think it's nourishing, I think it's one of the core reasons to be alive, and I think it is a way for me to stay healthy, because spending time with people I love and care about means that I'm not only able to give love, but I'm also receiving love in return, and those are good things overall. Spending time with people I love and care about, and doing things that I generally enjoy, like sitting here at sunrise, and as the sun is going to rise, hopefully the clouds will break slightly and we'll get more and more sun. I think the sun is slightly hidden from sight here, but that's not a bad thing, because we have the sound of the ocean, or the sea. This is the Mediterranean Sea, not an ocean. We've got the cove, we've got the trees, we've got the birds, and we've got some clouds, clear sky. And this is one of the things that I enjoy most in life, the peace and quiet of the world, this early in the morning. And I think that's very worthwhile, and definitely worth taking note of and spending time relishing, if at all possible. And I'm also happy that I get to enjoy it with you. Hey there, good morning, friends. Let's see. YouTube Punk, Kitchen Upgrade. Hey Mel B, good morning. YouTube Punk, Mel B, I hope you're both doing well where you're at in the world, and I hope life is treating you well this evening. I think it is for you. It is the end of the day. I know I'm doing well, and yes, I gave my kitchen a little upgrade. But also I'm back at where it all started 2 years ago, and it's nice to actually be back and to reflect, but also see the step change in health and fitness that I've made. I just finished 30 minutes in the gym. I'm still not lifting weights, so the only thing that I can do there is some of the cardio machines, and they have a wonderful Stairmaster. So I did 30 minutes on the Stairmaster before coming out here, because I still wake up early, but when I wake up that early, it's very dark, so there's no point in turning on the live stream. I don't want to come out here with lights and kind of destroy the ambience and the view. So we're going to get the streams slightly later this morning. Yeah, this sounds awesome, right? Like I could just sit here. I think I could just sit here and not say anything, and we would have a pretty good stream as well. But obviously there are things that I want to talk about. Hey there, Mr. White, thanks for dropping by. It's good to see you again. Thanks for being back. And I'm glad that you appreciate the background. I do too, and I hope you're doing well where you're at in the world, and I hope life is treating you well. The start or the end of the day, whichever that is for you. For me, it is the start of the day. Ooh. As you can see, I need a cup of coffee. So doing things that I enjoy, creating videos, telling stories, Obviously, I have plans to make some long form, but balancing the holiday time and the daylight time with the family time, this is actually also the only time that um, places like this are peaceful and quiet, um, meaning that I need to pick my times where I can sit and record certain things. But I definitely do have some plans to come out here and make a long form video as well, because we have a couple of long forms overdue on the channel. Um, I appreciate that. I wish I could bring a kettlebell out here and we could do some exercise. I think that would be very pleasant as well. Um, so yeah, being consistent while traveling, right? I think being consistent in general is a topic that merits a lot of attention. Being consistent while life's happening is one that merits attention. And then being consistent while traveling is an interesting one, because I think I kind of forgot. I'm going to tell you what I forget, and therefore I think that we maybe forget. Maybe you're not the kind of person who forgets these kinds of things. But when we travel, we go into a new environment. This sounds commonsensical, but bear with me for a second. And when we go into a new environment, we start to adjust to the new environment. There's a different rhythm to day and night here. There's different scents in the air. There's a different bedroom. There's different foods. There are different activities. The entire routine of the day-to-day gets flipped on its head, or not even. It's just completely different. You cannot even do really the same things. I mean, my workout here this morning was a Stairmaster for 30 minutes, whereas usually I'd go for a walk in the forest and meet some deer and some rabbits, right? So everything changes while we're here, Mr. White. I'm too tired to do anything. I know. I've been there. And I think when we are tired physically, worn out from a hard day's work or an intense day workout, we need to rest. I think when we're tired mentally from things that have happened at work, a lot of thinking, a lot of organizing and programming, a lot of busyness, actually moving around and exercising can really make a difference, even if it's just taking the first step on the stairs or a little step ladder or even a box and just doing 100 step-ups, like very slowly, take 2 or 3 minutes to do them, get that heart rate up, and actually you'll start to feel your mind and your body waking up and thinking, maybe there's more that I want to do. But we need to learn to recognize the difference, because sometimes we are physically tired and our body needs time to rest and recover. Absolutely. So everything changes while we're traveling, right? When we're in a new environment. And I think you have more people on the stream who feel that way. Everything changes and we adjust, but the adjustment takes time. Now, some of us love to discipline ourselves back into a rhythm. All right, I've said I'm going to do this and I'm going to adjust and do this. And that works really well when it's just you, right? But in my case, it's me and it's my family, and all of us are making this adjustment, and we are traveling together. Let's not forget, I do my streams and workouts, specifically my workouts, right, as an addition to my life, as a way to enrich my life and my experience and my ability to actually work, play, love, care, provide for my family. So in doing this together, also it's important to realize that my consistency is not just dependent on my ability to brute force discipline myself into compliance with my own plans, but it's also part of what my family is able to do in the time they need to transition into the rhythm for this new environment. And if I try to impose my discipline and my rigor, waking up at 5, being in bed on time, on them in a very hard way, it is not going to work out. It's actually going to create friction, because just like I am adapting to the rhythm of a day here, so are they, right? So that's one thing to consider. And we're doing this together, and we're here to have fun and to have a good time. So calmly assessing how the day flows, which is why I maybe slept a bit less than I would have liked to last night, simply because the day itself um, is going to have a very different flow to it. So that's one, right? Doesn't mean that I'm going to skip the things that I feel I want to do to stay fit and healthy, because a part of the reason that we came to this place is because I appreciate and enjoy the ambience and the working out and the peace of mind that the environment and facilities bring. Um, but another part, and a bigger part, is to spend time with each other and to have fun and to enjoy. Today we're going to a national park and a beach, two beaches there. We're going to do a lot of walking. I don't think I will be short of any activity, so it is more the baseline for that activity that I'm trying to upkeep during these 2 weeks. You know, it's easy to go on holidays, for example, and when I say being consistent, I also mean in my consistency in how I want to maintain my general weight, right, besides my health and fitness, because that is a stated goal of mine, because I believe it has implications for my long-term health and fitness. It is all too easy to go out on holidays and start to gorge. You can go to breakfast and they have a all-you-can-eat buffet if that's what you want to pay for and buy. You can do that for dinner as well. And it's very easy to pile up on the salty foods, on the greasy foods, on the calorie-dense foods. But that does not align with my general goal to balance having fun and enjoying the pleasures that life offers with um, staying healthy and fit. It also doesn't work well with the goal I have of educating my children on what it's going to take to stay fit and healthy throughout life, by providing them with good opportunities for food, good food habits. That doesn't mean that they don't get candies or don't get to enjoy things like ice creams and treats, and other things that make life sweet, yeah. But we don't go overboard with those kinds of things. And actually, we booked an apartment so that we can provide our own breakfast. And if we want to, either provide our own lunch or dinner, or lunch and dinner. But usually one of those meals we'll take in the facilities that are provided. So that also changes, right? It is important in that consistency to also then be consistent in the food choices that I'm making. And there's actually a lot of variety. It's actually a flexing of the skills that I work so hard to develop. Remember, I made these videos saying that food is a skill, sleep is a skill, exercise is a skill, building relationships is a skill, doing things that we enjoy is a skill. These are all things that we can learn and fit into our life. And I think that it's flexing the skill and the knowledge and my understanding, and also stretching my skill and knowledge and understanding of food and nutrition in an environment like this to create healthy, wholesome, nutritious, tasty, delicious, fun meals and food moments that are going to work for me, but that are also going to work for the other people that I'm with, because we're doing this together. And I think it's too easy to underestimate, when we get on a health and fitness track and we want to be consistent, that we become kind of dictators or tyrants um, of the environment, because we are so focused on what needs to be done. But there's also health and fitness to be found in the relationship and the community that we share together. So being consistent while traveling, look, here we have sunrise, and I think you can now see me much, much, much better. I also see that the camera is quite far away. I might move it a bit closer next time. But you let me know what you think, because obviously this is about the view and not about me. Um, uh, that's that's funny, YouTube punk. Mr. White, what are we going to do today? We're going to be at the beach. That is what we're going to do today, and that is the way to spend the day, walking at the beach, having fun, enjoying ourselves, making the most of life, um, because that's what we're here for. And then sadly, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have to work while the family vacations, um, but that's going to be fine. I can do my work remote, and then I am off for a week, and we are actually going to have a good time together. So yeah, what can I say? Being consistent while traveling, right? It's a matter of understanding what my long-term goals are, what in your case your long-term goals are, and then looking at the situation we're going to find ourselves in. I have a lot of control over this situation because I picked the location, I know the facilities, I know the environment, so I know what I'm going to be able to do here in terms of exercise, sleep, nutrition, right? It's all been prearranged, but maybe when you're traveling for business or something else, that is not as easy to do, that's not as commonplace. And that is the one that we need to be mindful of, is that, how am I going to put this? We need to have our goals, but we need to have the skills that help us achieve those goals. And those skills should not be dependent on the environment or environment or location that we're in. So I should be able to flex my skill of understanding how sleep works, what's important about sleep in a place like this, to understand very quickly what I need to be doing to be optimizing my sleep so that I am regenerating, recovering from busy days, and actually able to have high energy throughout the day when we are doing things together with the family. The same thing is about food. I have the skills and the knowledge for food to actually be able to work on what I'm going to eat, how much I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat, make different choices in restaurants, and also choose when I'm specifically not doing that because there's a type of food that I want to enjoy, and I just want to have a pleasant evening without worrying about food too much. And then that's also completely fine if that's like once or twice a week, right? Because that's how I do it back home as well. But going into a supermarket and not knowing the supermarket like I know my own supermarkets at home, but then figuring out what the foods are that I want to buy and bring into the house, so that in general when I'm preparing something I have the ingredients to prepare foods that I'm going to enjoy eating. That is a skill that I would need to be able to flex regardless of the environment. And the same for exercise, right? I like kettlebells, even though I haven't been able to do any for the last 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks I think. Is it 3 weeks? I think it's 3 weeks, maybe it's 4 weeks already. On Wednesday I think it will be 4 weeks. But I flex that into walking, right? Into sustainable cardio, and now back onto mobility. Yesterday I actually did pull-ups, push-ups, body weight squats, body weight, or just the motion of the deadlift without weight. And you see that my body, actually my back, responds to that. It is telling me that it is not ready to do more than that. That is about the limit of what I am able to do. And that's completely fine, right? It's not like I cannot lift heavy things. I have two kids that I need to lift up once in a while. But flexing that ability or skill of training, there's a set of stairs behind you. I could run up those stairs or walk up those stairs very fast, calmly walk down, walk back up those stairs, calmly walk down. Do that, you know, every minute on the minute, so to speak. And that would be completely fine. That would also be a cardiovascular workout. So there's different things that I can do because I understand the modalities of training that I'm after and what I'm capable of doing, that I can do that in the environment that I'm in. It's also about finding timings, right? Back home, 5 a.m. works. Here you see, I have to actually be up at 6 a.m. Or actually be out around 6 a.m. because sunrise is around 6:30 and the sunbreak really comes at around 6:45. So that is the latest that I can start to stream. And that changes the rhythm. That also changes your rhythm slightly because you might be used to me being up an hour earlier to be able to talk to you and have this stream and this conversation with you, right? So just keep those little things in mind. Thanks, YouTubepunk. I appreciate the. If this is good framing, then I think we're going to leave it just like that. And Justin, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well, and I hope life is treating you well where you're at in the world. I know I'm doing well, and that I'm happy here where I'm at. So being consistent is also about finding the timings that work, right? So for example, I did 30 minutes on the Stairmaster this morning at the gym. I know that I would like to do mobility today as well, and I know that the family's going to be taking a nap in the afternoon. So I generally don't need to take naps. It also interferes with my bedtime at night. I will, while they are napping, and maybe my wife will be going out for a run or be going to the gym, I will actually do my mobility session at home in the apartment because I don't need that much space for it. I won't be able to stream it. I'm sorry about that. I also don't think I'll be able to stream from the gym because they have very loud music. That was the only not so peaceful part of the morning routine this morning. But I'll be able to just do mobility there, and that's completely fine. It takes me 15-20 minutes in the middle of the day, but it will be peaceful and quiet, and then I can read my books and have a cup of coffee and wait for the day to start. So you see, there are a lot of different ways to flex the schedule, but still, oh, that's a whiff of very fresh, salty sea air. It's pretty amazing. There are many different ways to flex our schedule, many different ways to build in health and fitness into what we're doing regardless of where we are. And I think the fact that I'm able to do that also shows me that the past 2 years have been a good investment for the rest of my life, and that really taking time and trying to be consistent and taking a solid base that I learned from a very good personal trainer into actually working out a rhythm for life and habits for life that are, how should I put that, that that'll keep me healthy and fit for a long period of time. It's all right if you want. It's live, but if you don't mind being live streamed, go ahead. Not a problem. Yeah. So if those are things that that you're interested in as well, right? Here are some of the things that I've learned over the past 2 years, and that is that it takes time to figure out what worked for me, right? I started 2 years ago, and well, I'm jealous. Someone's actually going for a morning swim here in the water, and I think that's pretty cool. I thought about doing that. Maybe um, I should do that one of the days. Uh, that's really awesome. So what was I talking about? I was talking about what I learned. It takes time to figure out um, what works for me. And that has also changed over time. I think you remember that I started with 7-minute workouts, maybe you've never seen those. Those turned into 30 minutes workouts, was 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. I was just doing something. I was doing push-ups, I was doing squats, I was doing jumps, I was doing runs in place, I was doing a rope, skip rope. I was just moving and figuring things out. And the most important thing for me at the time was just showing up and doing something. And I think that insight, that can make a difference, actually stayed with me. Then there was a period where it fluctuated. I wasn't able to do it as consistently. I also got tired. I kept learning. And I figured out that there are things that I need to do to rest and recover versus actually um, versus uh, versus um, being active in training, and how I am actually going to manage that balance with the ambitions that I have. Because there's a point, there's also this emotion of, well, am I doing enough? Am I training enough? Am I keeping myself fit enough and healthy enough? And I think um, the thing uh, that works for me is to keep in mind that this is not about the way I look, this is about the way I feel. I have my long-term goals, my health and fitness for longevity. I want to be a good father, set a good example, be a good role model for my children. That translates into those 30 minutes, and that this is the result. So either I am happy with the results I'm getting with what I'm doing, or I need to reevaluate what I think the ideal is versus what I am able to actually create with the time that I have. So, just keep 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 those two things in mind. Trying out new things is a third one. That's just really important. Yeah, and trying out new things in a way that um, trying out new things in a way that we can learn, we can experiment, we can figure out what works and what doesn't work for us. And maybe in one situation, right, the body weight exercise really worked. The 30 minutes skip roping and doing that really worked to get me started. But as I progressed and advanced and got stronger and fitter, I needed different exercises. As I hurt my back a month ago, um, I needed to pivot into walking. And then, of course, there is the understanding that walking at different intensities has different health outcomes. So I walk more briskly, monitoring my heart rate. Um, but I wouldn't have known that I could do that if I had not tried that out and learned the things that I learned about the baselines, about what makes um, health and fitness possible for me. And the basics are really simple, right? It's about sleep, it's about nutrition, it's about movement, not necessarily exercise, it's about relationships, and it's about community, where we can get a sense of belonging and feel useful in life in terms of what we do. Those are all things we can talk about as the years progress. In any case, it is 7:04. I've been up for about 2 hours. I feel that I've earned my cup of coffee. I've been inspired by someone who came out and took a morning dip in the cold water. And maybe one of these days I might do that at the end of the stream just for fun. Who knows um, if I'm brave enough or not. I appreciate you all dropping by and saying hi. That'll definitely wake me up. Raya, yeah, go for a swim, right? Wouldn't that be something? And I think Raya, you've been on the stream also a lot before. and I appreciate you dropping by and saying hi. I think your name's changed, that's why I'm verbalizing that, saying that out loud. But I appreciate you dropping by, and I hope you're doing well where you are in the world, and I appreciate the fact that you're still here checking in, and I hope you're good on your health and fitness journey, wherever that's taken you over the past year. And thanks for dropping by. And yes, so I think since we're all in agreement on that, that is definitely something that I am going to have to look into and try out, maybe. But I'll need to bring towels and swimming trunks for that adventure. But let's see what day I might be brave enough to do that. Friends, for those of you who are watching, thanks for dropping by. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep, minding what I eat, showing up for training, spending time with people I love and care about, doing things that I enjoy, generally trying to live a stress-free life. I stream usually my workouts, but since it is a bit dark, but I do want to get my workouts in by the time that I can stream. I do my workout before the stream, and then I come out here for a little chat in the morning and before I go off on my day. I make shorts, I make long forms, make live streams about health and fitness in my 40s and my journey on that. If that's something you're interested in, you go ahead, check out my channel, like some videos, subscribe maybe, and let me know what you think about yesterday's short. It's the one that is captioned, "This is reality," and then it's about me and my gray hairs and the amount of training and eating that I do at 40. Remember that we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So I guess that I completely understand that. And it's good that I remembered well. Remember that we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. This person we are today is going to get us to where we're going to be tomorrow. And a bit of love and kindness to ourselves is going to go a long way. There are enough people out there who want to put us down, so we will lift ourselves up, always, all right? And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow. You know what's coming, YouTube punk? And remember, friends, subscribe.